Hello, guys. This is my dark spot, and today I have a huge honor of meeting you with the band Ursular. Hi, guys, and how are you today?
Hello.
Hi. So I think we're fine. I'm Babette. Hi.
I'm
Ni-
Kelly.
Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you. And can you tell us a little bit more about the band because there is no much info on the internet about your band, so you can introduce us to your band and to your sound a little bit.
So yeah, I think no, not I think, I know that we are four people in our band. Our name is Ursula, and we're playing, yeah, kind of psychedelic doom. And I think what's special about us is that we also have a saxophone. And yes, and I'm the singer, and that is my lovely bassist.
Hello.
Cool.
So the
Cool.
guitar and the drum section can't be here today, but yeah. So yeah, we founded in 2016, I think. Yeah, and we are based in Berlin and try to do our stuff here.
Very nice, very nice. I really liked your sound, and that's why I decided, to invite you to my channel because it's very specific. I like when people, introduce us to the new sounds. Also like many new genres, even it can be black, death
Mhm.
metal combined with saxophone. I think it's amazing, seriously. But what
Well,
made you decide go for that kind of a sound?
yeah,
What
I
is the
think
inspiration? Yeah.
yeah, I think it was a development after time. So we started as a doom band. So and at some point the saxophone came in, and that we integrated this little black metalish sequences in our music is, I think it's a new take. So yeah, that's just something we wanted to try out, and yeah, and now it's part of two of our songs. Yes.
That's very nice to hear. Yes. First time I heard about your band, I think it was a song Nocturne. And I was,
Ah,
yeah, I was like,
pretty
wow,
old yet.
yes, well, yes, that's what I heard first. And I was pretty much amazed by it. But I also constantly notice grungy vibes
Mhm.
in doom music, especially when it's about female vocalists.
Yes,
What
true.
can you say? Yeah, and I started wondering, is it only about me what I noticed, or is it someone else who noticed that? What can you say about it?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I think maybe it's maybe it's easier to have this take on sounding grungy because of bands like Hole and something like that. So
Yes.
I can remember that I was really inspired as a teenager by Courtney Love and Hole and bands like that, and also the way of singing and overcome just singing pretty or sounding nice, you know. So also have an edge and some, yeah, roughness in your voice. Yeah, and then yeah, I think then it's easy to be near to grungy sounds and stuff like that.
Yeah, and tell me more about your vocals. I would like to hear more about your vocal range, and I mean the way you change it over. So, I mean, in your songs, can you guide us through that a little bit more?
Yeah, yeah, that's also it. Yeah, it's experimenting around. I When I was younger, I was always told that I can't sing, but I was still always interested in singing and expressing myself because, yeah, of course, you're working with your voice all the time. You're constantly
Yes.
talking or something like that. So I really enjoyed singing. And some of the stuff, yeah, it's just trying out and feeling, oh, there's this growl going on here, and I want to work with it, not only finding it eventually, but no, not eventually, by randomly. So it's like, and then you try to get control over the stuff going on. Yeah, and also this screaming and stuff like that. It's just, yeah, just trying out, finding out, and yeah, I won't say that I have a range. I just have stuff I do. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. But is it difficult to maintain the balance between arranging your vocal range and is it difficult to I mean save your vocal
Mhm.
cords because you use scream and growls, and how do you maintain that kind of balance?
Yeah, I think in the end it's important that you don't overuse it, and
Yeah.
that you listen to your body and feel if how the voice feels. Are you tired or something? And maybe you should never push it too far. So
Yeah.
you never, yeah, you should never push your voice to do something that doesn't feel feel okay anymore. And yeah, in the end, I think it's just training and feeling what's going on there and try out to find it. So I do not find every day this teeth growl. Sometimes my voice is too dry or something, and then it's like, yeah, I won't make it there, and then I need a break or a little more liquid or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah. If it starts hurting, please stop. Like you must stop. That's true, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
okay.
true. And often a lot of stuff sounds louder than it is.
Yeah.
So, for example, the scream, I'm not really loud when I do that, but it sounds very loud because, yeah, the high frequencies are coming through very well. So you don't need to be very loud to have this,
exactly.
black metalish screaming sounds. Yeah.
Yeah, especially if you're using microphone or something like that, you don't really have to, be so loud. It does the job. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, and now let's see, how does your fusion of doom and heavy psychedelic rock contribute to the overall mood and atmosphere in your music?
Yeah, so I think in the end, of course, we love to sound heavy and rough, and we love this dull and groundbreaking fat riffs. So, but if you won't give it a break from time to time, I think it would lose its heaviness, And when you start to insert psychedelic parts, you give everything more room. Not only the meaning of the song, but also you give the heaviness more room in the end. So yeah.
Interesting. Yes. I would like to see, some of your live performances, and I hope you will come at least close here. I don't know, maybe Romania, Budapest, something like that.
We would like to.
Yeah, I was just telling people, sadly, I'm not in charge of arranging concerts, sadly, at least for now, but I hope it will change in the future. Yeah.
Yeah, it would be awesome to go abroad to play some shows.
Yeah. And
he's our driver. He has to agree in the end.
Well, we can convince you. Yeah, we can buy you some presents and convince you. Maybe it can work.
Die wollen die Geschenke kaufen.
Ach so, ja, gerne.
I'm just translating a bit.
Yeah, we must find out what you like, and that will be easier. Yeah, just kidding, but yeah, it would be nice, definitely.
Yeah,
it would be wonderful. And tell me, how do you feel about the upcoming release? It's going to be this July, and I have heard the newest single. It is wonderful. I think it's even way darker than previous, if I'm correct, when I'm comparing to the previous. And can you share some insight into it?
Yeah, so in the end, we are, I think, pretty nervous about the release. So, we worked on that for a long while, and it's a lot of rehearsing and discussing, rewriting, and the composition process. So, and on the one hand, you're nervous about the critics and the reactions, and on the other hand, it's like we are really looking forward to it because we haven't recorded it the way we did. We weren't pretty confident about it, how it came out. So, but I think I know there are 2 singles out now from the album, and there are going to be another 2 ones on a full album. So and it's a great feeling to put out an LP soon, and first time for us to have a vinyl. And we are excited. Are we excited? Sind wir aufgeregt?
Wir sind aufgeregt, ja.
We are excited.
We are excited too, yes. Because I always, tell people about the bands I'm listening to and recommend it to them. And most of my friends, all of them were like, oh my God, what is it? I haven't heard this kind of combination before. Like, it's amazing, So
that's cool.
Yeah, because it's pretty much specific. You probably follow, female vocalists in doom and stoner kind of music. And what could you pick as your favorites?
It's a really difficult question. Yeah, so especially when you say concrete doom. Of course, Windhand is one of the first bands we all adored a lot. So and there are some female vocalists I really look up to. So, for example, the singer of Christian Mistress, I like a lot. and I like the Black Wizards, and of course Mesa. They are all great artists and awesome women who do really cool stuff. Willst du noch jemanden ergänzen? Female fronted Doom bands?
There's so many.
Yeah.
That's mine.
Yeah.
Cool. Interesting. Yes. But what is specific for you, that use of saxophone and the way you use your vocals and creating that kind of atmosphere that is very different from the others? That's what makes you unique, you know, in that
Yeah,
genre.
you know, I sing the way I sing, so it's my voice,
Yeah.
and of course it sounds the way it sounds, and I do it the way I do it, and that's the way it influences my music. I can only sound as I sound, you know. There's no, I can, even if I try, I will never sound like Mesa's singer. So, but I sound like I sound. So, and with the saxophone, yeah, I am playing saxophone for 23 years now or something like that. So yeah, that was always my instrument. And yeah, of course, because I play it, I brought it to the band. So yeah, that's it. I think that's it. And the rest is, yeah, experimenting, trying out stuff, and having a band who allows me to try out even sometimes not so nice sounds.
Yeah, but it's all about, you know, how you are handling the, you know, that kind of jamming in the studio. I suppose you know, you have a lot of good time. And when you're most relaxed, probably, and just go with the
Yes.
flow, the best things come up. I was just discussing that with other bands, right?
Yeah, that's true. That's totally true.
All of you come with your own ideas, right? And then you just combine something out of it, I suppose.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Cool. And now let's see. But in what ways does your music challenge genre conventions and push boundaries within the doom and psychedelic heavy rock scene?
So yeah, as I said, so I think the way I sing, especially, already brought us away a bit from the doom, or the pure doom standards, towards some more psychedelic influences. And yeah, and as I said, the saxophone, I think, had the biggest impact, because you suddenly have to find out new ways, because there are not so many examples for horn sounds in doom. So, and there were not so many empirical examples how we could sound, or how that could sound. So, and yeah, and some ways it made things difficult. So especially when it comes to technical problems, like in regard the audibility of the horn. So I used to play in other bands before, and it was not that hard to make the saxophone come through. But now we have this big wall of sound, and it's hard to push the saxophone through. So yeah, and also you're challenging like listening habits and stuff like that. And on the other hand, it gives you a big opportunity to invent something new, because there are not so many examples. You are not, it's not so easy to sound like someone else if there aren't so many other people doing that. Yeah, that was, for me, it was a big time fun to explore new soundscapes and trying out other stuff with my instrument too. So I never played the saxophone the way I play it now before. So that's nice. And I think this whole experimenting is in the end the thing that makes a good psychedelic sound.
Exactly. Yeah. That was a very nice answer, I must say. I like it. Yeah. And now tell me about your lyrics, and how do they relate to themes of introspection, self-discovery, and personal growth? So how do you make bond between your lyrics and those mentioned topics?
So for me, so texts are always like a direct product of self-reflection. So it always has been, even if I do not write lyrics or other sorts of texts. And yeah, and the moment I start to try to verbalize what I have experienced or what I have felt, I start a process of accepting or interpreting or even integrating those experiences into my self-image, you know? And especially when it comes to feelings, you know, sometimes feelings can be very overwhelming or complicated to understand. And yeah, verbalizing them can help to capture this ambiguity of feeling something and feeling that it's not speakable. But when you try to make it speakable, you catch it.
Yeah, especially if you use certain kind of metaphors, but we will come to that. Yes, yes. I think it's probably way easier. But before we come to that, can you tell me about your personal way of writing lyrics, you know, and your inspiration? Like, how does it come to you?
It differs. So sometimes I'm sitting at home and writing maybe a diary or something, or a very analytic text about something just a thought I had, or something like that. And sometimes I transform that into lyrics because I found two words that I really liked in the shape of how they are, and I pick them out and write something around them. Sometimes it's this metaphor plops up in your mind and you feel like, oh wow, that is the metaphor I needed to understand the feeling I had a few weeks ago. So and suddenly you can start to bring it together and form lyrics. And sometimes it's just kind of falling out of my head. Sometimes you have this moment, you're sitting somewhere and you're like, oh, I need something to write. And suddenly you're writing down a few lines and feel, oh wow, that's going to be lyrics. They're already done. So it differs. I do not have a clear concept of how I do it. I think, I'm not sure, was it Malediction or Golem, one of them. I had this idea before, the metaphor, but the main part of the lyrics was written in the rehearsal space. So, but all my lyrics are linked to personal experiences, I guess.
Nice. Yeah, that's very cool. Also, I have noticed, you know, that usually bands are mentioning that first they pick the riffs. You know, it's about, music comes first when it comes to composing. But then for other bands, but these are very rare, I must notice. Have you ever heard about the band The Enemy of Reality? They're from Greece. Yes, they're kind of a melodic, atmospheric, symphonic kind of, they have black metal kind of vocals. They have mythology lyrics, very beautiful. They have natural instruments and also soprano vocals. So it's really like some kind of a story, like a fairy tale, very nice. And they told me first they pick the lyrics, they carefully write it down and everything. And I have noticed that for a couple of more bands. So that's how they make a total difference also. Like they have to adjust the music to the lyrics, which is not always such a simple task to do. What can you comment on that?
So yeah, it's we I think when we are in the writing process, we also have this moment of that we adjust it back. It's like then I yell something like, no, it won't fit the storytelling here, and can we change it? And sometimes we change the riffs around the lyrics, or sometimes I have to change my mind and rewrite some lyrics to fit better to the music. Or sometimes it's like, I thought that I'm going to use the lyrics on this song, and then after a while I feel, no, we won't make it to really fit together, so we have to adjust, and then we pull out the lyrics later again and try to find something new. So I always felt like that the songwriting process is very open and ping-ponging around, or how would you say that? So it's a lot of negotiation and trying out and listening over and over again and find out if it works or not.
Yeah, and adjusting it to the music, which is the hardest thing, I suppose. Yeah. Okay, and now I just wanted to ask you this question I mentioned before. What about using a metaphor and imagery? Does it enhance the emotional impact of the lyrics?
Those metaphors help to capture stuff which is not that easy to describe in clear words sometimes. Sometimes it's easier to say, I have a feeling about a trauma, and I call it a golem because everybody has now a picture in their mind and also a feeling of how the whole situation would feel if you have to encounter a strange figure which doesn't speak or something, and I do not have to describe it anymore. I just say the word and everybody has already a preset picture. And I think that's really helpful. I love metaphors and verbal pictures. They're awesome. They have a lot, and they make it easier to communicate on.
Nice. Yes, that's very nice. And generally, could you pick your favorite writers, or are there some other people who had influenced you in that way, for songwriting, or generally influenced you? You know?
Wow. I think I really like the expressionist era in the early 20th century. So I like how they brought together this intense pictures, sometimes this disgust of life is disgusting from time to time. It's not beautiful all the time, but always like painting with really bright colors, and they also do it with poems and text and like that. So, and everything is pretty vivid in its darkness, you know, and that's something I was always I felt always very inspired about. But I don't know. Do I have a favorite writer? No, I think it jumps around. Today that, tomorrow them. Yeah, we will find out.
Yeah, I was always impressed by Baudelaire. I don't know, I like Byron, that kind of, period, because it's kind of a dark, but it's, very stylish, emotional, like everything you need at that moment, know. Yeah. And also, just I wanted to ask something else. What about your artwork and visual identity? How does it complement the themes and concepts explored in your music?
So I'm not sure if we really have a concept of visual identity. I think it's something we try to find out. So everybody has different ideas, you know. But when it came to the artwork for our album cover, so we of course had some artists in mind we could work together with. And then we saw a drawing of Eric Sepsis, who did our artwork, and we all agreed on that. We really liked it. So and so we asked him if he was interested to work with us, and we told him that our new album was going to be named Preta, which is Sanskrit for hungry ghost. And we showed him some premixes of the album, and he said that he felt pretty inspired by it. And I think that was a nice moment of, okay, yeah, we feel inspired by your art, and you feel inspired by our art. Nice that you want to work with us. And he did a really great job. We think that his art fits us very well. Yeah. So, and we had something little similar with the visual guys from Sector 7G. So we know them for a while now, for a few years, and they always felt inspired by our music, and we always felt inspired by their awesome effects. And yeah, at some point we just met and talked it through and worked together. And they with their awesome ideas and their extensive video and effect technology, they started to create these two awesome videos for us. Yeah. So cool. Yeah, I think it's interesting because you when you start to open up to work with other people, so you kind of give out your material, because you have your own thoughts and your own feelings and interpretations about the stuff you write, and it's interesting to see how someone else processes it and what they are doing with it, and sometimes even expand not only the metaphors and the images, but also the sound to a whole new level. And that was, for me, that was really fun to see what the contribution of other disciplines can do for us.
Yes, how they actually perceive your art, and what they add to it, what they create out of it. Yeah, it's fun, definitely. Yes. But are you open to any kind of collaboration in the future? Not only speaking about the artwork, but in general, for example, for the music videos or anything, or even collaboration for the songs. What can you say about that?
I think we never thought about it yet, because now we are right now in the process of the new album. So, but I think for me it was a lot of fun to widen up the possibilities of collaborations with anyone else. So yeah, let's find out. So I hope it won't be the last videos we did in our lives. So
yeah. What specific cultural or historical influences have shaped the sound of your music, if there are any, of course?
So I think I don't know, in terms of sound, I think the list is pretty long, what influenced us. Okay, maybe you can name some bands that influenced you in your musical career. Wer hat dich beeinflusst von Bands für den Sound?
Für den Sound.
Ja.
Reverend Bizarre, definitiv.
Okay, one of them. So, and yeah, I think, if we can name some idols here or not. So I think they're the typical genre idols to name drop. But I think the biggest influence is that that you have fun with experimenting. Sometimes you play around and you find a certain sound and you try to recreate it, and suddenly you're interested in playing around with your instrument on a new level. And or sometimes it's you just really learned a new technique, or you bought a new pedal, or maybe a new instrument or something like that, and you suddenly inspired a whole new way and start to rearrange the way you feel yourself with your instrument.
Okay, but what about, for example, something about your culture or some kind of specific events in that terms,
Yeah, I think, of course, I think we're the typical rock consummates, we're white middle class people to take this cliche. So, and of course, my parents were listening to rock music. So, and of course, we're influenced by that, and we're living in Europe. Of course, we're influenced by Christian and European culture. I won't say that I really try to integrate it in some way, not at all. But of course, that's how we grew up, and also so three of us are from Eastern Germany, and I think that also influenced us in the way we think about some stuff in the world, and the way we do music in the end too.
What about the mythology, maybe? And
when it comes to lyrics, definitely. So, but I think there's the point that I'm really fascinated by the fact that people have been telling stories for thousands of years, and they keep dealing with the same ideas and themes over and over again. But those stories are never finished in being recreated and retold, and as long people tell stories, it doesn't matter if they are old stories or new stories, there will be this playfulness with your own perception of yourself and your culture. And I think for me, this playing with those motives and reinterpreting them is not only a way to understand myself better, but also a way to understand and to fathom social and cultural mechanisms. So, of course, if I use a metaphor from the Bible and reinterpret it for something I experienced lately, and not in a sense of, oh, let's praise God. I do not mean that, but maybe in a sense of feminism or something. That it's fun to recreate those stories and reinterpret them and reuse them for more modern takes on society and the way we feel about us and society.
You just that was, I mean, I like what you said. It's just about how you add something like that, but you just add your own mark to it, right? Yes, it's very cool. I like that too. And tell me about that evoking a sense of nostalgia and longing for bygone era. What can you say about that? Is there some kind
of
I
didn't understand the question. Can you repeat it?
But in what ways your music evoke a sense of nostalgia and longing for bygone era? I have noticed. Is there a little bit about it? If I have noticed well.
I'm not sure. To be honest, I never felt very nostalgic about the way we does, or doesn't feel like, oh yeah, the best days of rock and roll are gone or something. No, I don't think so. I think it's always a process, and it's streaming, and of course we all love this 70s sounds and stuff like that. And I really love to listen to those music. But still, there were other things were shit in those times. So I didn't want it to be a woman back then. So I do not think that it was easy for gay people or black people or whoever life weren't better for them
Yeah.
in the 70s or something. So I do not feel very nostalgic about that. They had good music, yes.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but we live here and now, and that's okay. That's fine. So we take our chance to hopefully
do something at the present, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. To cherish the present moment. Yeah, I
Yes.
like that. Yes. Maybe it's a bit more about the atmosphere in the songs that that just feel nostalgic, but in a way, not in a way to to transfer that to that era, right?
Yeah, in the sense of that the sounds sometimes are like common, and you hear the quoting of the 70s or 80s or 60s sometimes. Yeah, I totally agree. I think, of course, we have these influences. Yeah, and we work with it. That's true.
Yeah. Okay. And now tell me about your live performances. You can mention the performances you were at. I mean, how did they affect you? And how do they contribute to the immersive style of your music?
And that is one of the very difficult questions, because I think we hardly have any artistic self-understanding yet. Maybe we will develop. For me, I try not to be too nervous, and I try to look halfway cool, and sometimes putting on a cool stage dress or something can help to, you have this mask, and you can kind of get lost behind it and come closer to yourself, to hopefully do a good performance, and most of it sound cool. I will translate the question for Kai.
Okay.
Hast du einen Anspruch an deine Live-Performance, wie die sein soll?
Sauber durchspielen, ne?
Yeah, he is only interested in playing good. He's not like, oh yeah, I want to look this way or that way. So I think we're going to have some nice visuals by Sector 7G for the next concert, and that will hopefully push our live performance even more. So I just try to be in the moment and have fun as good as possible.
Yes, and definitely what I have noticed for many bands, I have been watching so many bands lately, and it is always interesting how they, create a specific atmosphere with their visuals, with probably a lot of them, they bring those panels, like some 3D effects, their styles, they have specific masks, symbols, and all of that, definitely adds to the atmosphere of their performance.
Yeah.
And then I was like, but before that, when I heard them, like, I was just playing them on the CD or whatever, and it wasn't that intense experience. They were good, definitely. But when I saw them at the concert, sometimes I have that feeling I was about to pass out, how good they sound and recreate the sound. It's like way better than, because that's why I say people, that's why we go to the concerts. We cannot just listen to people, like it's pretty much limiting. You need the whole experience, right?
Yes, that's true. Yeah. And for example, I can tell you something that he is very keen on, is he doesn't allow short pants on stage, because he thinks the wide legs won't contribute the music at all anymore. As you said, of course, I'm also adding, I usually wear some feather stuff or something else that makes me bigger and look a little more impressive, and I of course put on makeup to make it all feel a little more doomy or whatever. I don't have a good word to describe it now, but as you said, so we try to put something, but there's not a real concept. It's just everybody does what they feel right about.
Excellent. Yes. And now tell me about the specific techniques. I think we didn't mention those specific techniques that you employ to create that distinctive kind of a sound. Do you even use maybe more specific instruments than you mentioned? Some others maybe, or
no. I think in the end we are just the classical 4-piece. A guitar, a bass, the drums, and I have 2 saxophones, and we are playing around with pedals, of course. So, but do we have other sound stuff we need?
Some effects, maybe some certain effects.
Da fragst du wieder falschen.
Yeah, I think we have a lot of the classical stuff, you know, like a wah pedal on the guitar, but I also use it on the saxophone, or a fuzz pedal. And yeah, I think just pretty normal pedal board play around. So maybe our guitarist would say, no, that's more complex than this. So of course it is, but no, it's not like we never use something pre-recorded or anything to mix it into the music. So everything we use we produce live, and we do not even use not reverb when you record a little piece and then replay it. What's the camera, the pedal? And loop pedal. We do not even use loop pedals. So it's just something. Yeah, we just use what we use.
Oh, okay,
what you can see. Yeah.
Okay, cool. And tell me just about how your music evolved over time. Like,
That's a really interesting question, and I thought before we had the interview that we didn't evolve that much, but then you reminded me on that the new album really sounds different to the old stuff. I think in the beginning, everybody comes in and you have an idea of those are the bands we like and the bands we want to sound alike, maybe. And you start rehearse and imitate something. And after a while, you feel what the flow with each other is, and you jamming and trying out. And we also tried some covers from time to time, just to find out how it works, or to change songs or something like that. And and after a while, you find out what you as individuals are good at, not in imitating something that is already there, but in creating something new, what is very specific for you. And I think the point at which we are now maybe is the closest we are at ourselves we ever been before. So so for example, this whole for me individually, for example, I always had this feeling of I want to sound as good as I can, and I want to be technically as good as I can. And now I feel like I want to let go. So I want to experience also the ugly stuff and the stuff that maybe not always is well played, but that just happens, let things go. That is something I'm interested in right now.
Yes, that's cool. That's cool. You actually want to, not to think about the technical stuff and how you're going to sound like, just pour all your mood at the moment into what you're doing. And I think that's great, actually. Yeah. But I'm glad that you said, I mean, I suppose a lot of bands probably are concerned at the beginning, oh my God, is this going to sound cool?
Yeah.
But then later you just follow your inner self. And that's very nice, actually.
Yeah, that's an interesting learning curve. Yeah.
And you know what I also started thinking, I also hate when people are trying to compare. Of course, I naturally like to ask people about their influences, because I also like to find out more about more artists, of how they shape their sound. But I really think it's kind of ungrateful when people compare, oh, this sounds like this, and you just like putting people in the box. That's not very nice. I don't like doing that. So when I asked you about Alice in Chains and all that grunge, because I constantly feel grunge presence in Doom more than Black Sabbath. Okay, of course, Black Sabbath, like, to me, it's more.
Yeah, but you're right, of course. Doom came up in this time, and of course, they're like cousins or siblings at least. So
yeah, that's right. That's right. And also, speaking of the covers, I think many artists told me that it's pretty much risky to do covers. Personally, I like covers, and I will always support people who do covers. But there are people who will just dislike it, even though the cover is awesome. Just because
it's really hard.
Yeah. What can you say about that?
So we never recorded a cover, and I think we never played a cover song live. So, but I have this feeling that in the band there are some interest in maybe do one day. So I'm not sure. Let's see. But so, for example, when we started to jam together, when I came into the band, so we needed something we can try out, because I didn't know the stuff they wrote before, and they didn't have lyrics or anything for it, and so I came and listened to it, but I didn't feel like, oh, I can immediately sing and have a great performance. And so for the beginning, to find out if it grooves, we played a cover, or we learned a cover together, and it was Venus in Furs by thank you.
Okay.
And I can remember, for me, it was a lot of fun. I really liked it. I really liked playing this cover together. So yeah, it was fun, and it helped us a lot to find our first, to like having the first dates with each other and find out if you groove or not. So, and after all these years, we tried covers again and again and again. But I think we have a little problem there. We cannot really agree on a song that we all equally are interested in covering. Of course, I am, as a singer, I'm interested in covering something else as the bassist, maybe. So for example, if I'm interested in singing something by Janis Joplin, the bass lines may not be as interesting for him as the singing is for me, and it's the other way around too. You know, sometimes they suggest songs, and I'm like, it's so boring to sing. I don't want to do it.
Yeah, you couldn't agree. Yeah, that's the major problem. Yes, yes. But I see, as I told you, I see many people are skeptical about it. I would just like, okay, I will do that. People can love it and hate it. At the end of the day, certain people will hate anything we do, and certain people will love anything we do. So it's like it doesn't matter. I mean, you're doing it for yourself. So if someone likes it, cool. If someone doesn't, that's their problem. That's what I say. You know.
Yeah, totally. So you have to feel comfortable about the stuff you do in the end. So who else does care?
Exactly, especially as the artist, especially as the female vocalist. That's what I said, because I think it's important to emphasize that women have many problems in this industry, to be accepted, to have the fair, let's say, to have the fair battle just like the man. And it's really devastating, like look at the century we live in. So how do you deal with that kind of things? I suppose there are many cruel people all over the internet.
So I'm really happy that I didn't experience that much direct, to me, addressed misogyny in the past years anymore. But I'm playing in bands now for 20 years, for over 20 years, and times were rough sometimes, so people, and all this for a woman you are okay, so that is the worst sentence of all. So now am I good or am I not good? Who cares if I'm a woman or not? And also that's a pressure I also put on myself. So of course, because you're internalizing all the mechanisms too, but for example, this whole thing of being concerned about looking good in pictures and looking attractive, and you're also looking with this male gaze on yourself too, and sometimes a lot of pressure. So sometimes, of course I could say no, I won't do it, and fuck it. So, and but maybe then people would say something. I can remember when I at some point I was bold, so many years ago, many years ago, and guys really said stuff like, oh, if you weren't bold, you would be really pretty and cool singer. And I thought,
oh my God, like
I'm a pretty cool singer, come on. So it's strange. So you are measured slightly differently from in comparison to the guys, but sometimes it's also nice to peek out because of your gender. So as you know what I mean. It's of course it's if there's evening full of guys, of course we peek out if we are the only band with a female in it. That is a position I like. It's like that's special about us. Think about it. Why is it special?
That's what I just want to say. I think it's very important to to have a thick skin in those kind of situations, and to you just simply sometimes it's the best way not to respond to any of these, and that way you will not trigger them for more, and you just have to put the wall, and just do your own thing and be just unapologetically yourself, and that's it. But I think, definitely support from the band members and dear people, it's also very important. Definitely.
It is, of course.
Do you have in mind plans for the future? Do you think about the future era and what can you implement of the new sounds into your music, or it's too early to ask such a thing?
Hast du eine Idee, wie wir in Zukunft klingen wollen oder was du ausprobieren möchtest in Zukunft?
Eigentlich ein bisschen straighter vielleicht noch. Ja.
Straighter?
Ja.
Less psychedelic?
Gar nicht mehr so psychedelic, eigentlich mehr so nach vorne.
He says more straight, less psychedelic. Oh, a little more. You mean faster music, maybe?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can agree on that. A little faster sometimes. Yeah, a little more powerful. I know you will hate it, but I could imagine getting a little more jazzy with a saxophone, a little more experimental.
Yes, I support that.
So I was thinking, I have a tenor sax and a alto sax, and I was thinking about buying a baritone sax to have even a deeper range of notes. That was something I was planning on doing. Yeah, we will see. Right now we're just having this album. We didn't think too far into the future yet.
Okay. Before we finish, I want to ask you a question that interests me the most. What song could you pick as the most emotional? What is the most emotional and cathartic song to you?
Was ist der emotionalste?
And why? Yes.
Für dich und warum?
Warum?
And you mean from this album?
I mean generally. I mean, speaking of all your work.
Allgemein auf dem Album, oder?
No, allgemein. We have to think of it. So for the reason I wrote it, I think it may be Malediction, but it's not my favorite song. I wrote lyrics to, so it's not my favorite lyrics I wrote. That's the way the sentence is.
Something that's really, for example, when you perform it on the stage, that really drives you emotionally.
I think it's Siren. Oh, for me it's Siren. I think because there's this whole a very soft beginning, and I really like the lyrics, and the lyrics are a mixture of different poems I wrote in the last maybe 3 or 4 years. So I think it's also a product of a reflection that lasted for many years. So it's like the accumulation of a lot of processes coming together at some point lyrically. And I also like the song, and I think it was the first time we started to put this black metal thing into it, and I really like it.
Yeah, I think
so for you?
Malediction.
Yeah, so for Kai, it's Malediction.
Cool.
Kannst du sagen, warum?
Das Saxophon im hinteren Teil gefällt mir sehr.
He loves the saxophone in the last part.
Ja, aber gut hingekriegt.
Yeah. I see. I understand why. Yes. Cool. But is it hard to maintain that balance, when you perform on the stage? For example, I am way too emotional. And as I told you, I started practicing singing like recently. And certain songs hit me so hard. And you know what? I'm crying and singing. And so I was like, okay, I can never be a singer, obviously. But how do you manage to, control all those emotions when you perform? Is it hard for you?
I can totally understand what you mean. If I sit at home and be with myself and maybe practice singing and I'm practicing, and while I do that, I try to come into this feeling, why did I write it this way? How could I express this? But when you come back to a rehearsal space or to the stage, you're so concentrated on, okay, what are the other guys are doing? Can we vibe? How do we play with each other here? And then performance starts. So you feel a little less about it. So like in your direct experience, but you start to work it out in a new way with the others. And suddenly these feelings go to the background again. So yeah, try to play with other guys, and then you feel that you start to
Just
yeah
get into the
shake
mood,
this whole
right?
thing. Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool if you can like combine yourself like that and just totally, forget to get out from that
Mhm.
emotional mood. It's cool when you can balance that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And tell me, do you have maybe some message for the end for all the people who are just about to get into your music, or generally for your fans, or anything else you would like to share?
I think so. Yeah, the most important thing is buy our album. I think we have to say stand up against any kind of discrimination, and make yourself strong for everyone who's weak around you. And the most important thing, be kind to yourself. I think that's the most important lesson. And if you are kind to yourself, it's easier to be kind to others. And
Exactly.
yeah,
Yeah.
so
Yeah. I'm glad you mentioned that, because that's very topic, But okay, I'm just gonna add. A lot of people are cruel to themselves and suffered a lot, and they're pretty much wounded, and so they reflect their pain onto others, which makes a total mess out of it. And yeah, that's
yeah,
why I have noticed people who appreciate themselves and value themselves will be more kind to others than the opposite.
yeah, that's true.
So it was very nice having you on my channel. I
Yeah,
hope.
thank you that you invited us.
Yeah, thank you for coming. It was very good. I'm very grateful. And
Thank you.
yes, I hope you will have a great rest of the evening. And of course, I can send you my playlist. I have my some of my channels. I made some kind of doom stoner, psychedelic kind of
Yeah,
things playlist, so I can send it to you. You might enjoy certain bands.
yeah, that would be cool.
Okay, cool, cool. So thank you very much, and
Thank you.
spend
Gerne.
yeah, spend the evening well,
Ja.
and see you.
Bye.
Tschüss.
Bye.